Welcome into Eye on Northeast Kansas, the podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Bruner. This is where we recap some of the top interviews from over the past week on our Eye on Northeast Kansas TV show. The show airs live 4 o'clock Central Time, Monday through Friday from our WIBW TV studios in Topeka, Kansas. You can also watch it live stream on WIBW.com. The big news around here this week, we got a little bit of a refresher. A new red couch and new red chair. I know that's maybe not a big deal to you, but it's kind of fun for us. So a little bit of a change in the studio, and it was fun to welcome the first guests to the show throughout this past week. One change that we are going to see happening in the state of Kansas, a change at the top of the Kansas Highway Patrol. A new superintendent has been named. The governor has appointed Eric Smith. He is with the Drug Enforcement Administration. He will replace Herman Jones. Herman Jones is retiring. Officially, July 1st is the effective date, but Herman Jones has now had his last day on the job, and he has been the superintendent of KHP for the past 4 years. Before that, he was Shawnee County Sheriff, and then he worked with the Kansas Highway Patrol in some other roles earlier in his career. He's been in law enforcement more than 40 years now. The tenure has not been all smooth sailing. Herman Jones paid a final visit to our studio to reflect on his career and also some of those bumps he's encountered along the way. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you coming in.
Melissa, thanks for having me.
More than 4 decades in law enforcement. Yeah. What made you decide this was the time?
Well, you know, as we go through our cycles of our career there, it was just a point in time that I realized that there are some things just as important to my career. It's my family. So we want to do some traveling. I want to have some time with the grandkids and just enjoy life a little more.
How many years as head of Highway Patrol?
Well, it's 4 years.
4 years.
Yes, this is my 3rd stint with the Highway Patrol. I started out as a trooper down in Wichita, then came back after a short, a different change in my career there, then came back and I was the Director of Administration here in Topeka. That's what brought me to Topeka, actually, in 2000. So I did that for 11 years before I became sheriff.
How would you describe the situation that you walked into when you were appointed superintendent of the Highway Patrol, and then what was your goal or your charge going in?
Well, I think there was a lot of turmoil, and a lot of that was just calm the waters and then get us back into a direction I think that for the Highway Patrol that I knew of years back, where it was one of integrity and distinction and honor. And I think for doing that, the governor, when she appointed me, that was my direction of what I wanted to do, as well as for the governor.
There are many people who would argue that that's not what happened. The turmoil did not ease. There are lawsuits, there are allegations of retaliation, allegations of harassment. What do you make of those cases? Some of them are still active, still open. So what can you tell us about those allegations and your stance when it comes to how you are going to answer them?
Yeah, well, I think what happens of that is that, you know, I'm not able to talk about certain things when it comes to a point of a lawsuit. Others can say what they choose to. The point that I would say to the public was always understand there's always 2 sides to the coin. And actually there's 3 sides to the coin. So individuals have a different perspective of what they were used to, and now there's a change. Being a change management is very difficult for some of those that don't choose to change. So when I stepped in with the administration, basically our direction was to make the change in a positive, and not everyone saw that.
Do you regret that this is how it turned out, that it came to these sorts of things?
No. I still would have done the same thing to the same point of now the allegations that are there, that's what it is. And you and I can have a conversation, or we have a witness, people see things and everybody has a different perspective of those, of an event. So from that then, that's why we have the court systems that they'll work through those type of things.
All of that aside, what do you feel you accomplished as KHP superintendent, and how do you feel the agency is? What kind of position is it in as you step down?
Well, I think we're much better off. Some of the things, I don't have that list in front of me, but I sent something out to the agency and says, we went through a pandemic. No one's ever experienced that ever before. We went through the Great Resignation, if you will, or just people that didn't want to come into public service. And we had civic or civil unrest. All those type of things, and then we talk about social media. All those things that go against what law enforcement or people that want to come into law enforcement. And even for all of those type of things there, I went through a list of the accomplishments we made, from the new equipment to new personnel, new training, leadership training. Even though we didn't have as big of a class as we wanted to, we still were bringing troopers into our fold. So there were many positive things. And working with the legislators and governor's office right there, we've got new aircraft coming in. We had an aging aircraft for 40 years. And so we've got a lot of things that are going on, not just for the agency, but for the public and other law enforcement partners there.
What's the biggest challenge, maybe for the Highway Patrol specifically, or more generally for law enforcement moving forward?
Well, I think, as I said, just bringing new individuals into law enforcement, and not just in the uniform, but also in the civilians. We've got a lot of individuals that are support for the Highway Patrol. So, IT, HR, accounting, all those positions right there. But I think one is just building up the agency, and that goes for the whole state, really. Just bringing more personnel. What I will say is for the Highway Patrol is that we're still at a level of probably in the 80s when I came on. Things have changed. Just look at the traffic flow that we have here in Topeka and Kansas City and Wichita, and now we need more people to manage those types of things right there. So,
we have a few seconds, so your final message to the public.
The Highway Patrol it has a lot of great people, regardless of what some will think and say, that we've got a lot of great people, and I think that's what we're going to see in the future. We got a new leadership coming in, Eric Smith there. I think the governor didn't pick him for this agency to go backwards. Our agency is going to move forward and continue to do that, and I think it's an honorable agency, and I just love working for them and working for the public.
Again, those legal issues will continue working their way through the court system, so we will be following along with any developments and keep you updated on WIBW 13 News. June is Pride Month. It is a month set aside to recognize the contributions that the LGBT plus community makes around our area and nationwide. It also is a time to raise awareness and advocate for equality. One event taking place in the capital city is the Pride Fest. The owners of Studio 62 in the North Topeka Arts and Entertainment District are behind this, organizing this. Their names are Jaxyn and Cies Smith. They visited the Red Couch to talk a bit about the event, and we also touched on some of the recent debates that have been happening in our Kansas legislature and also in governing bodies around the world when it comes to several gay rights and transgender rights issues. So happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride.
And let's start with that. Why is this so important to experience and celebrate?
So celebrating being you and being yourself, because you got to be your authentic 100% you. And that's what we're wanting to celebrate. It's the LGBT plus community. So everybody is welcome. We want to just really celebrate this year and have a lot of fun things for everybody.
You have a Pride Fest coming up, Jaxyn.
Yes.
So what's all a part of the Pride Fest?
Oh, there's a lot of vendors. There's different things that you can look at, different things that you can learn about. There's also the food vendors, of course. We all love the food.
Yes, of course.
And then there's also the drag show that ends the night kind of thing.
Ends the night. There's going to be a parade as part of
There
this
is
as
going
well.
to be a
So
parade.
what time is the parade taking place?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. is going to be the parade, and what kind of route is that going to follow?
It's going to start at Studio 62 at the front doors, and we're going to have face painting, so you can get your face painted, come in your brightest, funnest clothes. I know that's not a word. And we're going to walk down Kansas Avenue, and
Like we did last year.
with music and celebrate, and we're going to have candy, and people can, line the streets and celebrate with us, and we're going to dance and have fun.
And for those who don't know where Studio 62 is located, what's the address so we know about where in NOTO this is taking place?
816 North Kansas Avenue.
816 North
Yes.
Kansas Avenue. Why would you all recommend that this is something everyone in the community come to? Whether you're gay, straight, cis, whatever.
Because it's a very safe place for everybody. So whenever you sit there and you can go to this place, that place, whatever, but at least at ours, you know that you're 100% safe to be whoever you are, whether you're straight, gay, trans, whatever. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, you're safe there.
And when you talk about a drag show, obviously that's been something that has been hotly debated nationwide in the state of Kansas. What do you want people to know about that type of performance?
Well, drag is, like I said before, being yourself and being you. It also allows people, because I've done drag myself actually, never done it before, and it allowed me to express myself in a different way and have a little more confidence. And you find things about yourself, and it's just fun and silly. You don't have to, it's professional, but to me, I just wanted to have fun and have a good time.
All about expression. And for the festival during the day, what sorts of things are you doing to perhaps make it a family atmosphere and to help families come out and support each other?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, at 10 a.m. we're going to do pancakes.
Jackson's just here for moral support, right?
Yes, sorry. 10 a.m. we're going to do pancakes. IHOP is going to donate pancakes and coffee at 10, so if you get there early enough.
It's the food thing again, right, Jackson?
Yes.
Food's important.
You can enjoy some pancakes, coffee. Well, there'll be vendors, so you can get handcrafted items. There's going to be candles, poppets, art, everything. You can also make your own art. So we're going to have bubble painting in the morning, which is really fun for kids. You can blow the bubbles, make some colorful art. And
is there a fee for any of this, or how much is free, how much is maybe an admission?
The bubble art will be free. The face painting at the 5 o'clock will be free as well. Some vendors, I think they're going to charge for their goods, as they should. Pancakes are free too.
Well, this is all coming up again, June 24th. A lot of those daytime events starting that 10 o'clock time frame with the family things, those are taking place, you said, in Veterans Park?
Yes, and in all of NOTO. So this is going to be an all over the place thing.
Awesome.
So I'm excited.
Those things are taking place there in the 800 block centered around there for the daytime activities, and then head on over to Studio 62 for the evening events and the parade going down North Kansas Avenue at about 6 o'clock, you said.
Yeah.
We also have our liquor license spread out, so you can come to us and you can actually get your drink and go out to the vendors and stuff.
The Studio 62 Pride Fest in Topeka taking place June 24th in the 800 block of North Kansas Avenue. We appreciate Jackson and Cies coming and having that really wide-ranging discussion with us. A popular event that takes place every year in Topeka in the early summer is the Sick Plant Clinic. It is a chance for gardeners and hobbyists to get a little free advice from the Shawnee County K-State Research and Extension Master Gardeners Group if their green thumb is looking a little wilted. Lane Wiens is our Shawnee County Horticulture Agent, and he visited with us about the sorts of things people can have asked and answered. This is a very popular event.
Yes, we're really excited about this event.
What can the Sick Plant Clinic do?
Yes, so this is going to be a great event. If you're having any issues with your plant, bring them on by Fairlawn Plaza Mall. We'll have experts from K-State there from the plant pathology department, which is plant diseases, and our entomology department, as well as a representative from the local weed department. So we're going to have a whole ton of knowledge there available for anybody in the community.
I'm trying to wrap my head around plant pathology. You're not talking about the KBI lab on the Washburn campus. This is something very different.
Yes.
And it is interesting to use that term because this is a bit of pathology.
Yeah.
What is it that those experts can look at when you bring something in?
So yeah, if you bring in your sample, they're going to look at discoloration in the leaves, if you have some spotting going on, anything that just doesn't look like what a plant is usually supposed to look like is what they're going to be looking for to figure out exactly what's wrong with your plants.
What kinds of things can they address and diagnose?
Yeah, so they can address, right now we've had a lot of really wet weather and it's been fairly warm, so we're seeing a lot of fungal disease problems. We had a really cold, dry winter, so we're seeing some environmental damage, especially on arborvitaes, so just some winter kill issues going on. And we're starting to get into Japanese beetle season, which is always an issue in Kansas.
No, they're not fun.
No, they're really not.
They may be pretty in some respects. I mean, they got kind of a pretty color to them.
To each their own, right?
But not fun to see on your plants.
Definitely not.
You mentioned some of the more common things that we're seeing. Do most plants then have a common solution, or sometimes do you just need to cut your losses and redo the whole 9 yards?
And sometimes that can be the case. Usually if it's a disease problem, there's usually something that we can do, unless it's a little further down the disease pathway, then there's not much we can do. But that's a great opportunity to start over with something brand new that you're going to fall in love with year after year.
When you talk about a sample, so if we see something in our yard, what should we look for, and then how do we bring this in for them to diagnose? Yeah,
so that's a great question. So to bring a sample in, we only need a little bit of the plant. If it's a tree problem, we like to know the sample in person is great, but a picture of the tree as a whole and a little bit about the area, because sometimes that can help out our diagnosis a little bit. So if you have some drainage problems in your yard, knowing that can really help our plant pathologist really narrow down on the solution.
So you don't need to cut off a whole huge limb of the tree, just a little bit.
No, definitely not. Yeah, just a little bit that shows some really good symptoms. Discoloration, spots, streaks, anything like that will help us out.
What if it's something that's dead? Like sometimes, for example, I'll plant a flower in a pot and this one is just fine. this one dies off, and I don't know why it's dying off. It seems like they're in the same exact environment. How do I handle a situation like that?
So again, a picture is worth 1,000 words for us. So just a picture of what the good plant looks like and a picture of what the bad plant looks like should be helpful for us.
If something has completely died, is that a valuable sample to bring in?
Yeah, that's also helpful. They can still show some of the symptomology on that dead tissue, so that's also really great to bring in if you have it.
How popular has this sick plant clinic been throughout the years?
It's one of our more popular events throughout the year, so we're really excited to bring this back in 2023 for Shawnee County.
Oh, if it's a fruit or vegetable problem, how do you bring in samples for those?
Yeah, so same way with it, if it's a tree problem or an annual or perennial problem, if you're having issues with your tomato or your cucumber or anything like that, go ahead and bring a picture or even better, a leaf sample.
What about our lawns? What can they help us with on lawns?
Yes, that's also a big thing. So the thing with lawns is that's a pretty big surface area. So
can't dig up the whole yard.
Yes, no, don't dig up your whole yard just to bring us a sample. So just a sample from the diseased area and then a picture overall should be pretty helpful for us.
That way they can tell if it's just one area or if it's something that's spreading.
Exactly, because some disease have pockets all around your yard. Sometimes it's just one giant patch in the middle.
Whew. Well, the Sick Plant Clinic, with a lot of information, is coming up for the Shawnee County Extension Master Gardeners, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday, June 26th, inside Fairlawn Plaza Mall. That's at Southwest 21st and Fairlawn. It is free. I do have a link. You see it right there, shawnee.k-state.edu/lawn-garden/ a bunch of other stuff. That link also is going to be on WIBW.com for you so that you can just click directly, and then it has a little bit more information about exactly how to bring those samples in. Thank you, Lane, so much for bringing us up to date on the Sick Plant Clinic. A lot of things happening this time of year.
Yes, very much so.
This is a good time to get in the plug. If your area has research and extension offices for your state university systems, really take advantage of them, folks. They are a wealth of information, a fantastic resource. We don't just have them in Kansas. I know they have them in other states. So go ahead and check it out in your area. They can really be a help on a wide range of issues. Finally, I want to share with you our latest segment, previewing Fiesta Topeka. The annual event is celebrating its 90th anniversary this year. We have mentioned that one of the primary ways they raise money is through the Fiesta Royalty Competition. All the money raised, folks, goes to benefit the local school, the joint parish school for Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish and Sacred Heart Parish. They have now a joint school called Holy Family School. The Fiesta Royalty Competition raises money that goes toward that. There are 2 contestants this year. We shared with you Lori Rodriguez a couple weeks ago. This week, we welcomed Monse Cortez along with Rosa Cavasos, who helps to organize the competition for the royalty this year. A delightful visit. Let's listen in. Tell us about yourself. And I find your background a little bit interesting because when we talk about Fiesta really traditionally centering on the food sales for this royalty competition, that is right up your alley.
Yeah, so I actually did 2 years of a culinary program at Washburn Tech. So I love to cook. It's so relaxing for me. And this was what got me really excited. I was like, I love the kitchen. I can do this. And then I went to Hayden as well as Holy Family through a scholarship. So I was like, I can give back to my community this way, and I'm so happy to do that.
So if you are happiest in the kitchen, and this is all about the food, what is the specialty when people go to your food sales?
So far we have done menudo, which is a Mexican soup that has beef, tripe, and stomach. It's delicious, and you can add hominy if you'd like. We've also done flautas, which were really big. We did that my last food sale, and we had guacamole on there. They were pork with queso and sour cream. They were delicious.
Okay, so your menu goes a little bit beyond just the tacos and the burritos. You've got some extra stuff on there. I like it. So what did going to Holy Family mean to you as you reflect back now on your whole educational experience?
Yeah, so it really connected me back to my Catholic education. They would take us to church. I love talking to the sisters as well as the priest, and I got a lot of good friendships out of there that I still keep in contact with. And I just really loved their teaching, the way they taught, and everybody was so connected and united. I really loved that about that school.
And it's interesting to hear that perspective because, Rosa, that is what Fiesta and the royalty competition is all about. It raises money to support Holy Family School. How much does this mean to the school and it being able to continue to be sustainable?
It means a lot. Like, we do talk a lot about the budget, but the time and dedication that the royalty candidates put into the food and, you know, getting the word out there is so important to our schools. So it is a huge budget item for us to be able to send a number of students to Holy Family.
And the competition is a fundraising competition between these two queen candidates. Make no mistake about it. They are vying to raise the most dollars for the school. The overall efforts of Fiesta, how much is what Monse and Lori doing helping with the overall amount that you're able to come up with at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's probably about a third of the budget is what we're hoping to make when the girls are out selling food and doing their raffles and things like that. So it is a big part of the budget that we look forward to and hope that the girls can make that amount of money to be able to go back to Holy Family.
You do have Lori's food sales are this week. You have another week of food sales coming up.
Yes.
In addition to the food sales, how else can people support your candidacy for the crown?
Well, we are also doing a raffle. We were donated a Samsung TV as well as a PlayStation 5 and 3 religious images. So we will be raffling those July 1st, but we are still selling tickets. I will have the last week, and we are also accepting donations. For my campaign, it's called Fiesta 2023 Monse, M-O-N-S-E. If we appreciate any donations there, or just by coming and buying food, whether it's for Lori or for me, or even the Fiesta committee, that really helps a lot.
Have you had anyone else in your family?
No, this is the first time.
You're the
I'm
first one. Oh my goodness! So you're going to start a new tradition for all of your
Yes,
family.
hopefully.
Lori has a bunch of people in her family, and now you're going to start this amongst yours as well. So you said the food was a big seller, but why else were you motivated to run for queen?
I was also motivated because I realized that they stopped it for a bit after, COVID happened and everything. So when they were trying to bring this back in, I always wanted to run because as a little girl, I would see them with their crowns, the dresses, and I really saw it and I really liked it a lot. I was like, I want to do that, but they stopped because of COVID. And then all my little siblings were like, oh, please run. I have little sisters, and they're like, we want to see. And they want to do it too when they grow up. So I hope to be an inspiration to not only my siblings, but other girls or boys that want to do it. It's a really good opportunity, and I really like it.
And they probably will enlist your help. Of course they will. So the food sales are continuing on right now. If you'd like to support Lori's food sales this week at the Marlo Cuevas Belander Activity Center up there on the Our Lady of Guadalupe grounds, Monse's food sales are the week of June 25th. And of course, Fiesta Topeka takes place July 18th to the 22nd. Go get everybody's food because it's all delicious. So why not, right?
Exactly.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
to meet you. Rosa, good to
Thank
see you
you.
again as well. They have so much fun and so much pride planned for the 90th anniversary Fiesta Topeka. We at WIBW TV are proud supporters. We do plan some special stories and coverage leading up to the 90th anniversary festival. In fact, part of that I got to see just today, folks. I got to see the special art project that is being installed on the side and around the outside of the former Our Lady of Guadalupe school building. They now use it as a preschool and Sunday school location. It's fantastic. It's just another way to showcase the history and tradition of the community. It's a true neighborhood community piece of art as well. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but if you have a chance to get to Topeka, go to the neighborhood, go and visit and see this new piece of art. They're putting the finishing touches of it. Jamie Colon is the artist. He has done several murals around the capital city. This is a little bit different for him, and he's real proud of it. He's going to have it done hopefully in time for Fiesta. Sections of it will be done in the weeks coming up to it as well. So truly a centerpiece, and we are glad to share our Fiesta Topeka tradition with any visitors who want to come to the fine capital city. Thanks for being with us this week on Eye on Northeast Kansas, the podcast. Remember, if you'd like to see videos from these segments and all of our guests throughout the week, we post them on WIBW.com. You can also find them on my Facebook page, WIBW Melissa Bruner. And again, you can always catch the show live streaming on WIBW.com Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Glad to spend a few minutes with you right now. We'll see you on the Red Couch.